So I wanted to make another video on the frequency in the gym. Now, a lot of people with this go in many extremes. It's kind of one of the things what I call the basis of kind of living inside what's called a paralysis frame. A frame is like a cognitive outlook or a way you view something. And basically when you're in that kind of paralysis frame, which most of the fitness industry is actually in, you know, they kind of base decisions on purity, shame, guilt, fear, confusion. When you're like that, kind of the unthinking masses will actually kind of respond in extremes. So a lot of times when people go in to do their, you know, weight training program, cardio program, they'll do it in this kind of overabundant amount in the hopes that will kind of be the fail-safe, which kind of allows them to get their results without having to really think about it. I'm just gonna let this bike go past. So what I usually say, in most cases with exercise, regardless if you're, you know, it's a performance goal, it's a, you know, you're trying to build more muscle, you're trying to maybe get leaner, or you're generally just trying to be more healthier, is try and do the minimal effective dose of exercise based on your goal, and only change it when you hit a plateau. So what this basically means is, say for example, someone is losing weight. So they start out their program, say they're nutritionists, say I'm your nutritionist, I put you in a calorie deficit, or your macronutrients are all optimized, you're in a balanced diet, and you're losing £1 pound a week. Brilliant. And that is based off just 3 days of weight training, say you're doing a full body each time. Now, say 2 or 3 weeks into that program, you hit a sticking point. What I would do as your nutritionist or personal trainer would be to up your exercise. Why would I do that? The reason being is, as opposed to eating less, if you're already in a calorie deficit, you're eating already less than you burn, you're going to be quite hungry. It's quite easy to do 20 minutes of cardio after a weight training session than it is to drop, you know, 300 calories more food, especially if you're like a small woman who already is on a small amount of calories. So at that point, if you hit a sticking point, I would add more exercise. But again, it's not like this kind of, I'm just not kind of doing this ambiguous kind of guessing. I'm just haphazardly just kind of adding in 2 hours of cardio. You want to try and do the minimal effective dose because it's going to be easier to maintain. So for example, a lot of people who do kind of this over a kind of astronomical amounts of cardio when trying to lose weight, doing 3-4 hours of cardio, you know, 5, 6, 7 days a week. The problem is, as well, because they're not adding any muscle to their frame, the moment they stop doing their cardio, because they've done so much to get, they usually have this massive spike in their weight loss, but because it's so difficult to maintain that kind of regimen, the moment they stop, it's so easy to put weight back on because they couldn't maintain it. You want to try and do the minimal effective dose, maybe do a longer diet, so you don't have to be so strict when doing it, and it's going to be easier to maintain that weight once it's finished. Because now, for example, if you did it in my method, if you're doing, say at the start of the diet, you're doing 4 days of weight training, working out your entire body throughout the week, and towards the end of the actual, say, a 3-month period, and at the end of it you manage to, say, a stone or something like that, and you're doing, say, 3 days of cardio at 30 minutes, that isn't that bad. You know, at the end of the day, you're only in there, say, 3 or 4 times a week, or 4 times a week. You know, it's quite easy to maintain, rather than, you know, doing this kind of, you know, 7 hours of training per day like a professional athlete, and then, you know, at the end of it, you're trying to transition back into becoming, you know, not as physically active and upping your calories. It's quite difficult to do, and oftentimes a lot of people just fall off the wagon, stop it and quit because it's too difficult to maintain, and then spiking the weight loss even more. Also because a lot of people don't do a lot of weight training when they lose weight. They haven't added any muscle to their frames, their body doesn't require as much calories. Oftentimes most people starve themselves and do an astronomical amount of exercise, so they're stripping muscle now from their body, so the body needs less calories. And then the moment when they're so bored and fatigued from doing all this exercise, the moment they stop and gorge on food, they're going to put on twice as much weight they did before. So you have to be strategic about it. You know, with like weight loss, gaining muscle, being healthier, you know, there is actually, you know, an element of intelligence about it. You can't just haphazardly just kind of chip and change things and just kind of do it randomly. You know, there has to be some kind of tactical plan in place, so then you can get your results and you can also sustain them as well. So hope you've enjoyed that video. So do the minimal effective dose of exercise. You know, don't haphazardly do this astronomical amount unnecessarily. Try and make it easier on yourself, because you'll be able to maintain it that much easier once you get to your results. So hope you enjoyed that video and have a good day.